What is industrialization? Ooh, that's a good term, or a good thing. A good question. What is industrialization? Um, Man, how am I gonna? Okay, so not even looking it up or anything. Oh, I have to like kind of like wing it. Um, well, it's using it's the mechanization of the forces of production. I don't know. The mechanization of the forces of production. Here, let me look it up for you. Okay, yeah. Okay, industrial. Okay, okay. Industrialization. It might help to start from, well, what is, what do you mean industrialization? Like, what was before industrialization? So before industrialization, it was like an agrarian society. It was a society based on um, agriculture, right? Okay, so I'm thinking it was a society. Society was an agrarian. An agrarian society is a society based on agriculture. So that's what existed before industrialization. So, so the things you used to transform the world was generally human labor, like raw human labor. However, um, as, as humans, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you would get you would get your you would transform society using unpowered unpowered human labor. That was it. And then industrialization was basically unlocking coal. It, like the process of, I think it's the process of mechanization. What is industrialization? Okay, so according to the dictionary, definition of industrialization: the act or process of industrializing, the widespread development of industries in a region. Okay, industrialization and modern intersect control. What? Industrialization and modern intersect control have improved the quality of life around the globe, but they have also added some 100,000 chemical compounds that some scientists worry could affect the health of, yeah, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, it doesn't really give you a real clear definition of it. Oh, and there we go. Okay, look, that's another way of putting it. Dude, like, what am I doing, right? I'm like doing your homework for you. Ah! Although I should know. I mean, but I've never really thought about it. What is industrialization? I mean, it's moving out of agrarian society into industrial society. So the way that people related to their material conditions changed. It used to be that humans related to their environment because they were tied to the land. at least in the West, uh, in so at least in Western Europe. Let me focus it, right, because I think industrialization first happened in Europe, or and first happened in England. So my understanding of it is that the guilds were the ones that were in power, uh, and the pre-capitalists, I don't know, like, they didn't have much say over, they didn't have much control over the production of goods and services. But as they managed to like get uh the guilds people into one room and under one roof, under control, under observation, they could control the production and observe how the guild produced their goods. And then if they were clever, they could try to find methods to simplify the whatever step they could in the production of whatever good they wanted from the guild. And then they could like somehow give it like into a machine, so that would simplify it. You didn't necessarily need the guild to produce it. If you could create a machine that could simplify that step, then you can get anybody and stick him in that position to do it. So in that way, you take the pre-industrialist took away power from the guilds and accrued it for themselves. Another thing that happened was the Enclosure Acts happened in England. Remember the serfs, the people used to be it used to be that like you were either a noble, aristocracy, part of the clergy, you know, or you were a serf, a peasant, a farmer, basically. And if you were a peasant, you and your family never ever left. You had a parcel of land and you lived there and you died there, and your sons lived there and died there, and their daughters lived there and died there. That and then their grandkids, generations on forever, would live there and die there. That would be it, right? That's your plot of land. That's the way it was. But you know, as the aristocracy and the nobles lost their power to the bourgeoisie, the growing like merchant class, they sold their land to they sold the commons, right? The common, which should be for everyone. It's supposed to be land that anyone could graze their cattle on. So, you know, and anyone could farm to get food. Because that's the way it's been for generations. But, you know, the nobles had sold their land in order to get wealth, in order to have money, to furnish their lifestyle. No, I've been to college for a long time. So in order for the nobles to so they sold their land, right? They privatized it. And that means that the land that was common and that was held on by this, you know, that the serfs lived on for generation after generation, all of a sudden this became private property, and they fenced it off, and you couldn't go on there anymore. Well, if you're a serf and you used to live there and you can't live there anymore, where do you go? There's nowhere you can go, right? There's nowhere you go. The only place you can go is to the city. So yeah, all the ex-serfs, they're not serfs anymore because they got kicked off the land. all those all those ex-serfs all funneled into the cities where they became cheap labor for the factories. Remember what how the capitalists stole the secrets of the guilds and put it into the machines? Well, once you have it in the machine, all you need are people to work those machines. So all you so now you have this horde of people with absolutely nothing. They own absolutely nothing. Serfs used to live on the land, but now they have absolutely nothing. No, nothing. The only thing they could possibly sell is their labor. So they make a deal. They say, well, they don't make a deal. The capitalist makes a deal with them. They say, okay, person with absolutely nothing, you have absolutely nothing. How about you trade me 12 hours of your life? You will go work in my factory and make things for me. And at the end of that 12 hours, I will give you basically nothing, but just enough to make sure you live to do the same thing the next day. How's that for a deal? If you don't take it, you could die. And the serf's like, well, okay, it's a deal. I have nothing else. So it was like, it was great, right? The way they concentrated the productive power of society so they could create a lot of great stuff. But to do so, they had to like torture humans essentially.